Hi, I'm Chris from the ATB Cycling Program and owner of Pedalhead Bicycle Works. We also have Kevin Masters of Aerobic Power Training Systems and the ATB Cycling Program here. We're going to go over some quick fit features for those of you who aren't quite sure how your bike fits, or maybe want some tips as to how to make sure your bike fits for either your virtual cycling part of your ATB Cycling Program, or especially when we get outdoors and start putting some miles in. So we're going to start with the most basic, which is your seat height. We want to make sure that you've got the right seat height so that you're not too high in the saddle, making for lower back pain or some shifting back and forth on the saddle. And we want to make sure that you're not too low, which can cause some knee pain over time because you're putting too much force on your knee. So we're going to have Kevin show us how, by having the ball of his foot on the pedal and coming down to the very bottom of the pedal stroke, we're going to see a slight bend in his knee, somewhere in that kind of 15 degrees of bend. So if you're on your own bike and you don't have someone to look for that bend, and you don't have a mirror that you can look at or a fancy camera like we're using right now, you can also judge your seat height by putting the heel of your foot onto the pedal. Okay, so when the heel of your foot is on the pedal and it's at the very bottom of the pedal stroke, we want that leg completely outstretched. So as we can see here, we've got Kevin in the exact right position, and he's going to get the most effective power out of his legs, not being too high or too low. Now, nothing is etched in stone with seat height, so make sure that you listen to your body, and if you need to slightly tweak it from what we're showing you here, that's something that you can do as you go along and as you ride. Now, once we go back to Kevin having the ball of his foot on the pedal, we want to make sure that the saddle in its fore and aft plane is in the right location. Now, the saddle, if Kevin just stands up for 1 second here, we can show you that the saddle has rails on it, and that allows us to push the saddle back towards the back of the bike or slide it forward. A common misconception is that that's going to adjust for where your handlebars are in relationship to you in the saddle, but really it's designed to get you over the bottom bracket properly. Bottom bracket is the center where the cranks spin around, and we want to get the most amount of power possible and be as efficient as possible. So when Kevin brings his foot up to about parallel with the ground with his pedal arm, we want to drop a plumb line from just behind his kneecap to the ground. And if we're in the correct plane on the seat, we'll see that plumb line drop through the center of the pedal axle, which it is perfectly doing so right now. If Kevin were to shift his weight back on the seat, you'll see that plumb line becomes way further behind the pedal axle. It's no longer efficient pedaling. He may put undue stress on his quads or his hamstrings and won't engage his calf muscles as much. So we want to make sure that we get you in the right height and then the right plane so that you get the most amount of power into the pedals. Once you've got your seat height and your fore and aft set, we can move to the front end of the bike. We've got Kevin in the hoods on his bike right now. That's our most common riding position. And we're going to look for a 90-degree angle between his upper arm, his tricep, and his torso. We happen to have a tool here that can show us that if we pivot it off his shoulder blade, we're going to see almost a 90-degree angle. Now, for more athletic or more aggressive riders that maybe are racing or have been riding a long time, we're going to see that angle open up and Kevin will be reaching more forward. At 90 or just slightly under 90, you're going to have a good, comfortable ride, and you're not going to put too much stress on your wrists, shoulders, neck, and back. That's a great start to getting your bike fit properly. If you need to have those angles adjusted on your bike, the stem, which is the piece that holds the handlebar onto your bike, that can be changed to different lengths, different angles of rise, or most bikes even now have spacers underneath the stem, which will allow us to lower it down toward the ground, making for a lengthened out feel to the bike, which again is kind of a more performance-y or athletic fit to the bike. You don't have to buy anything. It's a quick change up, and you've all of a sudden got a totally different position on your bike. So with these kind of simple fit ideas, you can have your bike ready to go without really spending any money and make sure you get the best possible performance and enjoyment out of your ride. Thanks a lot for listening, and we'll see you out on the road.